Hi, this is an educational video on the germ cells, its migration, development into oogonia known as oocyte, and also I'll be talking on primordial follicle. So let's talk about germ cells first. So germ cells, they arise from the endoderm of the yolk sac. As we all know, initially the embryo, if we go back, it is a bilaminar disc, and later on it changes into a trilaminar with three layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. So the germ cells, they arise from endoderm of yolk sac. So they migrate roughly at around 5 to 6 weeks. They come to a specific area which is known as genital ridge. Now this happens at 5 to 6 weeks. So why does this happen? There's a particular chemical that is released which is known as telophorone. So telophorone is a chemical that guides the germ cells. They all migrate, they all go to a genital ridge. So they reach to a particular area. Now initially they are not many in number, but there's a beautiful process that happens which is known as mitosis. So mitosis is a process in which a single cell that has 2n or 46 chromosomes or genetic material that goes through a process in which they will replicate, they will divide, and eventually they'll form two daughter cells, but the genetic material of this and the two daughter cells will remain the same. This is in contrast to the meiosis, in which the genetic material is halved. We will talk that later on. Let's keep it simple in this video. So if you look at the mitosis, if you take one blue and one red as the genetic material, the initial step that happens is the duplication. So we'll have two of blue and two of red. After that, the next step is when they come and align in the center. Now this process this particular step is known as metaphase. After that, there's a spindle formation. There's a split at the center point. The center point is known as an centromere. It divides at that point. There's a split at that point, and it pulls the genetic materials away from each other. Eventually, this two will come and form one cell, and this two will come and form other cell. So the initial step to this step, there's a particular name of it. So the first step is known as a prophase. The second step is known as metaphase. Third step is known as anaphase, and then it's a telophase. So you can imagine this sort of a step happening multiple number of times that changes few germ cells into 7 million oogonia at 20 weeks. So this 20 weeks I'm talking about the intrauterine life. So let's imagine a sperm and an egg formation and fertilization that happens at the second week at the time of around ovulation. We count 18 weeks from that time, which is going to be around 20 weeks. So there are 7 million oogonia, or the future oocytes, that are present. Now the mitosis does not happen much after that. There's a process that reduces the number of oogonia from 7 million to just 400 at the time of menopause. So there is something that happens which is known as an atresia, which is a spontaneous reduction in the number of the eggs. So at birth, a female child will only have 2 million oogonia. That will reduce further to 400,000 at puberty. And after that, with every cycle, when the egg is released, if you count that from the menarche, the first period, until the time the female stops her period, which is known as menopause, it will be roughly around 400 eggs that will be released in every cycle, which means one per cycle, not 400 per cycle. So this is the entire process. So this is the migration of the germ cells from its origin, which is endoderm of the yolk sac. That happens around 5 to 6 weeks because of a specific chemical known as telophorone. It goes to genital ridge and it undergoes mitosis. We went through this mitosis process where it goes through prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, where one cell will change into two daughter cells. So this process will make the number of oogonia at 20 weeks around 7 million, such a big number. And then it reduces at birth to around 2 million. At puberty, it goes down to 400,000, and there are 400 odd eggs that are released in the entire reproductive life of a woman. Thank you for watching this. Please do watch the next video. We're going to expand and we're going to learn through the entire ovulation, menstrual cycle, fertilization, embryo formation, and this is the core and the basics of the reproductive science.